Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you're all very well. It is time for the second watch along of the day. We've just seen Scotland absolutely smash Italy. What was it, 52 points in the end to 10? Biggest defeat for the Italians. And now we turn our attention to Dublin. We turn our attention to Ireland, who host England in round 5 of the Six Nations. It is Super Saturday. Welcome along to Brandon Smith Rugby here on YouTube. So good to have you here. So good to see some of you in the chat already. If you are new here, guys, do hit that subscribe button. It's free to do as we push towards 1,500 subscribers. So do hit the subscribe button. And also, get involved in the chat. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Let me know who you backing to win this one. We've seen a couple of you already in the comments. Gregor Galway as well. Thank you for that update on the team. Gavin believes that England will win this one. You're watching from Germany. Hope you are doing well over there. Thank you for joining us on the Scotland-Italy preview. And Gavin says, my prediction that England will win by 15 plus is a little bit outrageous. Well, we'll have to see when we come to the end of the game if I am chatting nonsense or if I'm chatting a little bit of sense. If you have not yet seen my preview, it's live on the channel. And go check it before kickoff, and then you can come back and watch this if you would like to be. You're more than welcome here this afternoon. There are a couple of changes, as I said, to the England squad. We'll get to them in just a second. We are going to have Kyle jumping back on for this one once again. And then straight after this, Wales against France at the Stade de France. We're going to be doing a watch-along for that. I'm a Welshman. Got the posters up ready. So we'll be watching that one. So lots going on the channel today. So make sure to have subscribed for that. But you're more than welcome here. I hope you are all doing very, very well on this Saturday afternoon. Six Nations Super Saturday. Really excited to see how this one goes. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm sure of it. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how it goes. But let me know where you're watching from in the chat. And also make sure to subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure to like and follow the page as well. So, England against Ireland. Interesting game, this one. It's going to be very, very interesting. If we actually have a quick chat about the recent fixtures between the two sides, because I think that's always interesting to have a look and see who's had the dominance in the past few years in this fixture. And recently, England have really dominated in this fixture, have massively dominated. We've seen England really smashing it, doing really well against Ireland. In fact, they've won the past 4 fixtures. Ireland haven't beaten England since 2018. That was at Twickenham in the 2018 Six Nations. And last time they faced each other was in the Autumn Nations Cup, as England won that one at 18 points to 7. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. Our guest is in the building. I do have the shirt on, Gregor, wearing the Ireland top today. Capo Starkey Kyle is here. Kyle, how are you? Ready for this one? Oh. You're muted, mate.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now. All good.
Perfect. All right. Yes, I did not change my shirt. My white ones are all in the wash right now, sadly.
No, it's all good. We just watched, of course, Scotland against Italy. There's a reaction on Kyle's channel, so do go and check that out. A lot of people would have come across from the Scotland-Italy game when we're talking about it, but how would we summarise that game? Italy, I mean, worst performance you've seen so far from them in this competition, would you have said?
Well, where do you pick from? Apart from probably the England game and at moments against France. Yeah, just really poor. I mean, I've said, like, sort of if there's anyone who's also on the Scottish Rugby Supporters Forum on Facebook, I've said some positives, and that, sort of obviously some of our individual players had a good game. Our line-out was a lot better today. But apart from that, there's not a lot I can really say that is really giving a fair gauge of where we're at right now, just because of how poor Italy were. So it's, But I'm happy we got the win we did, but still felt there was a few tries left out there, and just poor opposition. So in some ways it's hard to watch, and I always feel very difficult to do a proper reaction videos to Italy games when it's so one-sided.
Yeah, it was very much one-sided. And let's turn our focus to this game just before we get into the teams. England, of course, last week beat France. We did a watch-along for that. We weren't sure about the try, but then having looked back at it, we knew Itoje did get the try. What do you think will be the mindset for England travelling to Dublin? Because I was just before you came on, was looking at the recent results, and England have won the past 4, and they won the last time they played in Dublin. They won 32 points to 20. And that was when I think England really dominated physically in this game, which is a concern for Ireland. So what's the mentality like for England coming into this game, do you think? They'll be confident, I think.
Yeah, after last week, we'll definitely be looking a lot sharper. But as I was saying to you before we came on during the last stream, I just have question marks as to how much of the levels they gave last week took their toll, because it was definitely their best performance they've produced since they beat the All Blacks in the Rugby World Cup semi-final. And then, of course, we know the following week they lost to South Africa in the final, because I think the actual effort they put in to win that semi-final took their toll in the following week. And I have question marks as to whether that's going to be the same here. But if England can reproduce that kind of level as they produced last week, then you'd have to count them as favourites. But I don't know. I think just because of it being CJ Stander's last game for Ireland, I think they're going to be, very, very up for it. And yeah, I could see Ireland just nipping it, but I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. My predictions were a little bit different. Let's get to some of your comments before we look at the teams. The teams are coming out, so we'll do it quick. So big game for us today. I want a good attacking performance, because if we don't deliver that, then I worry about going forward. Connor Crowley asks, will Ireland beat England? Well, that's the big question. Connor Broomfield's in the chat. Evening, lads. Hope you've calmed down from the Ospreys win, Brandon Lowell. I don't know what you're on about. What are you on about? If you haven't seen my reaction, it's live on the second channel. It was a great night for Ospreys fans. And let's look at the teams, because there are a few changes for England with some injuries. We'll go through them. Let's have a look at Ireland first of all. This is how Ireland line up this evening. They've gone with Hugo Keenan at fullback, with Keith Earls on the wing. Jacob Stockdale comes in for for James Lowe, who has been dropped from the squad completely. He's been criticised for his defensive errors throughout the recent matches. So in centre, then you got Henshaw. Bundyaki comes in for the injured Ringrose, with Sexton starting at 10 and Murray starts over Gibson Park. The front row, then you got Kilcoyne, Herring and Furlong. In the locks, then you got Henderson and Byrne. Byrne was man of the match last week and brilliant over the ball. Josh van der Fleer, CJ Stander, last game for Ireland. He's retiring at the end of the season. And then Conan at 8. Quickly, Kyle, your thoughts on that team? It's a fairly strong side, isn't it?
I think there's been a change on the bench. I was seeing some of the Irish forums. They were saying that Ross Burns in for Billy Burns on the bench at 10. But the team that's starting, I'm a little bit surprised they haven't started Ryan Bird. I know James Ryan's injured, of course, because I thought Ryan Bird, when he came on against Scotland, was very good, and he did enough to earn his start. And with how Tag Burns been playing, I'm surprised they didn't keep him at 6, because he looks like he's had a lot more of an impact there, and with Stander at 8. But I mean, the back line doesn't really surprise me, but you have to say it doesn't jump out at you as overly exciting, or like looking like it could offer anything really differently to what Ireland have generally produced the last 6 years or so. And as you were saying before, with Bundyaki coming in for Gary Ringrose, it does look on paper like it's a very one-dimensional centre partnership. Overall, we both know what they're capable of, and they're just going to sort of charge up the middle, be very direct, But I mean, we'll see how it goes. Sort of again, we could see some variation and things. Things differ. You never know. But I'm a couple of surprises, but overall, a strongish team.
Yeah, for sure. Just a reminder, guys, that if you're joining and you think I'm going to be showing the actual game, I say this joke every week. I don't have as much money as Guinness or the Six Nations, so unfortunately, I cannot show the game itself. It's live on ITV if you want to watch it, but this is just a watch long for fans to get together. Because of COVID, we can't get together. Let's have a look at the England team. A few changes for England that has happened recently. So Max Malins was meant to start fullback. He dropped out of the team. He's withdrawn from the side with the leg injury. So Elliot Daly moves to fullback, with Ollie Lawrence moving into the centre. Let's hope he can touch the ball before the 60th minute in this one. George Martin then joins the team on the bench. But this is how the team goes. So you have Daly at fullback with Watson, Lawrence, Favell, May. Ford and Young's on 9 and 10. The front row, then you've got Maka, Vunipola, Luke Cowan-Dickley, and Sinclair in the front row. Itoje and Ewells then are at 4 and 5. And then that back row is Mark Wilson, Tom Curry, and Billy Vunipola. That team screams power to me. And I think the battle up front is going to be really interesting and really important for who wins this match. What are your thoughts on that England team?
I think obviously saddened for Max Malins at fullback. I thought he had a very good game last week against France. But no, interesting to see how Ollie Lawrence does centre alongside Farrell. Obviously got two rather contrasting players, and England haven't really played with a sort of more power centre since Tulangi, really. In the forwards, yeah, as I say, screams power. I expect them to be very similar to the way they were against France last week. We're going to try and pulverise them, and that's where Ireland will need to, at the very least, get parity, which they're obviously more than capable of. But that's my thoughts there.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big game. If you're watching, if you're not yet subscribed to either of us, subscribe here on Brandon Smith Rugby and subscribe to Cal's channel at Capo Starkey. I'll drop a link throughout the stream to his channel, and make sure that you've liked the stream as well. Let's get to it then. Ireland are singing their second anthem. Let's get to the predictions then. I said in my preview, England by 15 to 20 if England win the physical battle. If Ireland can win at the breakdown, win the battle of the breakdown, if they can turn the ball over, what they're very good at is their kicking game, is playing in the right areas of the pitch. I'm going to back England to win this, but if England dominate up top, as I said, England by 15 to 20, but if it's close, then I think Ireland could snatch it. But I'm going to back England. So what's your score prediction for this one?
I'm going Ireland by 3.
Ooh.
I think they will just scrape it. But again, I might be proven wrong. I don't know. I just have in my mind, like, sort of how it's CJ Stander's last game, and I think how Ireland generally play at the Aviva, there'll be a lot of motivation for them. So
yeah,
I mean, maybe I might be going for heart over head a little bit here, but I'm gonna say Ireland narrowly, but we'll see what happens. I can be proven wrong, of course.
I think, though, if it is close going into the last few stages of the match, I would back Ireland. I'd back their mentality to get it done more than England, because England have this ability to just collapse completely, with Favell at captain as well. If we're being totally honest, he's really struggled in that role. We saw them collapse against us, and we've seen them collapse against other teams throughout the tournament. We saw them against you guys, just nothing really from them. So if it's close, I would back Ireland, but I just think England's physicality is going to be that little bit too much for this Irish team, and I don't feel like Ireland have enough in the back line to create something out of nothing. That would be my concern for this Irish team, but it's going to be a great game anyway.
The thing is, though, also we know with how much momentum game sport is. If the momentum does go against England, and they do struggle, and they don't pulverize Ireland up front, as you know they look to, and they don't get under their skins at the set pieces, then that's where, like, Farrell's leadership will come into necessity as to how he galvanizes England when they're on the back foot, if they get on the back foot. And that's where I think if Ireland can get a momentum in their favour and they can capitalize on that, could work enough to get a victory. But again, like, I don't know. I'm not sounding certain, because I'm really not. But I mean,
yeah. I think it's going to be a great game. We're ready for kickoff here. Let's quickly get into some of your comments. Martin Murray points out the obvious. If Ireland scores more points than England, they will win. Yes, that's how rugby works. I think Leonardo enjoyed that one. Connor is backing Ireland to win by 3. Mark says, when won by whoever plays the better tactical kick, and both sides are well matched in the forwards. Very good point. Connor's happy that you're backing Ireland. Oh, Brian O'Driscoll having a wee slag at Stockdale. Interesting. We'll see. England are just about to kick off, so quickly. Sad to see in the other game, Italy might have to be dropped or something, change the tournament structure. It isn't working for them like it is. We'll probably get into that later on and then Freddie's back in England. We have kicked off here. As always, get your thoughts in the chat. Let us know any questions you've got.
We have talked quite a lot about Italy though and how they are. So
yeah, indeed.
I don't know. Just I don't personally. I don't know what more I can add to that. Really.
Yeah.
So
very true. But first line out to England then, and Itoje collects it.
Oh, Mateo Ronaldo's the referee today.
Indeed.
It's not very highly rated by some.
Well, what is Young's trying to do there? Trying to maybe be a bit too clever. Ireland might have turned this one over. They have. Ireland get early. England somehow retrieved that possession. Ben Young's trying to be a bit too clever, but he will box kick this one away. I think we're going to see a lot of that today. I think we're going to see a lot of box kicking.
Yeah, no, there will be plenty of percentage rugby, but I'm hoping we do see like some running, plenty of running as well. Maybe a prop sidestepping again from Furlow.
It was actually Shane Williams just wearing a costume. That's all it was. I've heard reports. He put a lot of pillows under his top as well, and off he went.
Notice we didn't really talk about that in their live stream last week, did we?
Ireland with a chance here. Ball out to Henshaw. A little bit of space out wide. Again, we spoke about this on various watch-alongs about England's narrow defence. There's always space out wide. If Ireland can get it out wide, that Johnny May probably isn't the best defensively. So that is something they'll aim to do throughout this game. They were caught just in touch there.
Both teams have started trying to attack the short side, though. Aye.
No.
Oh, come on.
All this messing about the lineup. Come on, ref.
He's keeping the mark, which too many referees don't do for my liking.
Ben Youngs decides to kick. It's not really the greatest box kick. And they do win it, though. Not made many meters, but there's a bit of space out wide. Ford goes for the kick, but it's caught by Earls. Not advantage to England, or Ireland, sorry. Here. Knock on. It's all over the place at this point.
Hear him, scare him start from both teams.
Yeah, bit of a nervy start. I mean, both teams will want to finish strongly in this competition. That'll be the big thing. They want to finish strongly. And as you said, Lions' places are massively up for grabs. You saw Hamish Watson get man of the match today. Tipperic's been absolutely smashing it for Wales. That back row battle is going to be fascinating. And, you know, the 10 jerseys may be up for debate as well.
I'm still not sure about who's the main contender for the 10 jersey. But you see that England forwards coach Matt Proudfoot, he's been rating Tom Curry as the next Richie McCaw.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think is a big. I don't know. I think that's a really big onus to put on anyone. But not that Curry's a bad player, but just put. So I mean, again, just McCaw, just with the player he was and the legacy, and someone who's at that level. It's just.
Yeah, to put so much pressure on one person, that's a bit crazy, isn't it?
I don't know. It could work in his favor because he could use that as to his advantage to desperately want to prove himself. But it's a big onus. I always think comparisons like that are really big to put on people. And
and especially on such a young guy. He's what, 23? Is he 24, 23, something like that? He's a young player.
I'm personally not saying that's right or wrong. Just because some players live up
to that. We'll thrive off that. Yeah, we'll thrive off it. Yeah.
And others it's and others it's a case of maybe they do have a good career, but they maybe don't reach the potential that coaches are putting on them, like when they make statements like that. I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. No, absolutely. I mean, you see it in other sports all the time. They say he's the next blah blah blah. He's the next Roger Federer. He's the next Messi, or he's the next Tiger Woods, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Ireland there being pushed into touch. Favell with a tackle on Bundyaki. Again, not much rhythm to the game so far. Lots of mistakes early on here.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of space out wide for England if they could have got it off there.
Yeah, poor kick.
Daly kicks it out on the full. So lots of mistakes early on here.
That's why he was dropped for Max Mellins, essentially.
I thought Max Mellins did really well. I actually put him in my dream team, team of the round last week.
Same.
And the amount of people that were like, why is he in there? Why have you put him in there? And I was like, I always ask the question then, because I try and respond to every comment. And I'd always ask the question, well, who'd you put in place of him? Who was better than him? Liam Williams did nothing all weekend. Bryce Doolan did okay, but he was on the losing team. And for Max Mellins to come in and play at 15, first start for Ireland on his 6th cap, to be that assured and that safe for most of the game, I thought he was brilliant. And he offered a lot more going forward than Daly did.
Yeah, I agree with you.
England have turned this one over and have won the penalty, not rolling away.
Yeah. Hugo Keenan, I thought, did well last week as well. But yeah, I agree with you. Aside from that, I think Max Mellins definitely the best. 15 last week was on the pitch. So, in terms of how he played.
Yeah. So Daly will look to kick this one downfield. It's a good kick from him, putting them into the 22. So opening 7 minutes, been a bit all over the place, but England may be winning the battle physically at the minute, just about. It's very much 50-50.
Early days, yeah. But first proper attack, really, I think.
Yeah. And this one's definitely going to be in the maul for a while. You'd assume. Oh, they get it out straight away. Into Lawrence. Advantage to England.
Yeah. Oh, it's a penalty advantage, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a penalty advantage.
Oh, side entry at the maul there, I think. Early drive, okay.
Interesting to see what England do here, whether they take the points or they'll go to the corner again. They caught me, and I think caught Ireland in a bit of a surprise there by getting the ball out of the maul so quickly. Yeah, Furlong comes in on the side there.
Going for the points early doors.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision. Get some points on, get the confidence up, get the scoreboard going. So Farrell will look to put England into the lead. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Mark says, Daly for me hasn't had a good tournament. Poor against Wales, an already mistake here, but it's still early yet. Leonardo says, Ireland giving away too many pens and a soft penalty, though. It is a penalty. Came in at the side. But Farrell looking to put England into the lead just before the 10-minute mark.
There we go. 10.
There we go. England leading 3-0 early on here. And we have our first points of the game. Nearly 10 minutes gone. Sexton looks to try and make this one competitive, but England do gather it just outside their own 22. And they'll look to run from here, Billy Vunipola. Billy Vunipola's got better as the tournament's gone on, hasn't he? He's looked more involved.
Yeah, no, the first two games he was, by his standards, pretty appalling. No, he's, in terms of form, though, you have to say Sam Simmons is still the more worthy 8 to England, but But no, but Billy last week he looked back to his near his best and did well. So fair
That's
play
a great
to him.
forward. It won't quite bounce out for him as Stockdale takes it, puts himself into pressure. What's he doing there?
Yeah.
Silly mistake from Stockdale there. Why did you take that into contact when you're on your own there?
That's not really his fault, though. I mean, they kicked it behind him. That's always the tactic England are going to use against Stockdale. To try and kick it in behind him, get him running backwards. But no, he got himself he was too isolated, and the Irish support players didn't arrive properly. So yeah, no, that's right enough there, just right over the top, not supporting body weight. And then,
Leonardo says Stockdale is a liability. I think he's a brilliant winger. He's not a fullback for sure. And in that situation, for me personally, he should have passed it to his fullback. England coming forward here. This looks like it could probably be a try. Have they grounded it?
Yeah,
surely.
Just on the Stockdale liability there. I think going forward, he's a very good winger, but clearly there's been a weakness exposed in him running backwards. His defensive abilities under like a grubber kick or a kick in behind is still very suspect. So some of it is like you have to think: is it his positional play, or is players not helping him out enough around him? Like in that situation, he was too isolated. So, but
England being held up there, but we've just seen their power there, aren't we? That's what we expect from England with a drive. More ball goes down and they just drive.
Yeah, that's where they've got the better of Ireland over the past 4 times they played them. You said,
4 times. And that game in Dublin 3 or 4 years ago, where they absolutely battered Ireland up front, and Ireland just couldn't do anything. And Tuolangi had one of the games of his life that night. I remember that quite well. And that's why I am backing England to win, because I just think physically they are going to bully Ireland. And I don't have the confidence that that Irish back line has enough. If Ringrose was in there, it might make a bit of a difference, because he's, in my opinion, he's had a decent tournament and his stats back that up. But there's just not that creativity that's going to create. So I'm losing James Lowe. Although James Lowe's had a poor tournament and defensively he's a massive liability, I think he's worse than Stockdale. He does have that spark. He has that little bit of extra spice about him that he can create something out of nothing.
Yeah.
But scrum to England, 5-metre line.
And again, like just Ireland's selection in the back line, going for Conor Murray again. And as you say, with the centre partnership, it just doesn't on paper look like much excitement or spark there.
Early engagement, I think, from England. Or not driving straight. Bit of a let-off for Ireland there. Sinclair penalised. If you can get into his head, it's always fun, as Alan Wynne-Jones will know.
Still a decent attacking position for England, this.
Yeah,
early push there. Yeah, because argue was a bit hard. He was a bit hard done by there because the ball was technically in.
Yeah.
But
it's all the thing with the scrum half where they say they're going to roll it into the middle of the scrum, but it's basically already hitting. It's already hitting the number 6's foot, isn't it? When it's rolled in, it's already hitting his foot. Driving more from England, which has been successful for them, but Ireland have stopped its movement. If England can get this ball out wide, this Irish defence comes up very, very quick, but there's always space out wide. They can get it. And Ireland win at the breakdown. That's going to be the big
thing I think Henshaw will give a bit more at 13 is his defence, because he has a good, does have a good knack for knowing when to come up. Yeah.
But that's always the risk with playing that style, isn't it? That blitz defence. Here in Wales, we did it all the time. And if you can get it right, it's super effective. You can suffocate teams. But there's always that risk that the pass is going to get out wide, and after that, then the fullback's on his own trying to defend against three backs.
It's where I think for Wales now, George North's still a liability there. Because when he gets it right, great, but he still has too many moments where he's getting caught on the outside and, it's exposing him. But
Vakatawa today against him. Oh,
that'll be fun.
Let's just hope he's not back up to speed after his injury. Because yes, last week he did look a little bit rusty.
I thought he looked quite good last week for.
Yeah. Ireland recycling the ball fairly quick here as Byrne takes it forward. Quick ball from Ireland. They are trying to speed the game up here. Stander bounces off Wilson.
Byrne.
Good tackle from this is going to potentially be kicked.
That too long. No, it's not bad.
Good kick, actually, and good chasing from Henshaw.
There we go.
And penalty to Ireland. Well, the intensity of Ireland's defence is what's going to win them this game if they're going to win it. And Henshaw's put a shift.
Yeah. Henshaw's another one I think is on the Lions playing, definitely. He's had a very good tournament. Yeah,
definitely. I think him and Ringrose have really stood out. I think who else is there that's really stood out in the centres? I mean, no one for England. Scotland, not really. It'd have been interesting to see how Cammy Redpath would have got on if he'd have had a whole tournament, considering the way he played against England. It'd been really interesting. I think Jonathan Davis, because he's just Jonathan Davis, because he's world class. And of course, it's not who we want to see, it's who Pivac will pick. Because, not Pivac, Gatland will pick. Because Gatland knows these players very, very well. He's always trusted Jonathan Davis when he's been out injured for a year. He always picks him anyway. So, but much better from Ireland. Can they keep it up for the full 80? Penalty here, right from the post. This will be 3 points apiece.
I think that will be for Wales later today. That will be their biggest test. Centres, like how Davis and North are as a pair.
And Sexton adds the 3 points. So we're all square. Ireland 3, England 3, 18 minutes gone. Ireland have shown. Sorry, go on, mate.
Those grey hairs around his sideburns are just getting greyer, though, Sexton.
Do you think he goes on the Lions tour at all?
I think he'll go. Whether he'll start or not, I don't know.
Yeah, because I think he's had a really good tournament. I think he's played some really good stuff. I thought against Scotland, his kicking game was exceptional last week.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Although Scotland did shoot themselves in the foot without, they couldn't get a line out and they were knocking it on constantly, but he recognised that he put the pressure on them throughout the game. Back to Ford, who decides to kick. That's going to be way too long.
Oh, terrible red.
Oh, Murray, what are you doing, lad?
Conor Murray there.
Got away with murder there.
Aye.
He's put pressure on his team. If he catches that, he just calls for the mark.
Yeah, I don't know why he's misread it.
Yeah.
Let's have a looky.
I mean, is it spinning in the air or something like that?
I know he missed. Yeah, I think he at that level you've got to be reading at least where it's going underneath it, so you can. Yeah, no.
So nearly halfway into this first half. It's been pretty equal so far, though England have dominated most of the possession. It's been fairly equal. I think Ireland have dealt pretty well defensively, haven't they?
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree.
because I was worried that Ireland would get battered up front potentially, but they've done really well in this one. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Leonardo says that Henshaw is definite Lions material, and Ireland need to keep onto the ball longer. Don't give England too much possession. I think the big thing for both teams is to play the territorial game in this one. If Sexton can have the same kind of kicking game they did last week, if he can dominate that and put Ireland into the right areas of the pitch, then we know that they're driving more, that they're pick and go, that being around the 22, they have the power and the physicality to win those collisions. I don't see a way that they get turnover ball and they spray it out wide and they throw it out and things. I don't see how that wins for them.
Mm-hmm.
England win the line now, but it is a bit scrappy and it's knocked forward by Ian Henderson and it will be a scrum. YouTube is in the chat. No worries, mate. Come on, Scotland, superb stuff. Let me know who you're backing here for this one. There are 20 of you currently watching. If you've not yet hit that subscribe button, be sure to do so. It's free to do. And let me know where you're watching from and who you're backing, and make sure to like the stream as well. It's been a scrappy game, hasn't it? There's not been much of a flow to it.
Yeah,
really.
There's been mistakes, times like they're looking to, both teams looking to try and play the percentages more. Yeah, it's just it's scrappy, really. That's all I can say.
Of course, we will be doing the big game, France against Wales, later on. There'll be a bit of a break because this game is literally just as England are coming forward here. Johnny May gets out to Daly. Daly tries to offload, but is tackled just outside the 22 here. Good hands here from England. Big tackle that from Henshaw. What a game he's had so far.
What was that for?
I'm not too sure he can catch it. High tackle. I think something at the driving mall. Sorry, at the mall. At the ruck. Vunipola, yeah, Billy Vunipola. Mako, sorry, Vunipola penalised there. But Henshaw defensively is flying out the line and taking his man. I think that's his job, is to take the man. Just get the man.
No, he's reading the play very well as well.
Oh, brilliantly well.
Because it is probably the hardest position to defend on the pitch at 13. Just how much decisions you got to make. You got to get the balance right of when to drift, when to push up, knowing when to hit a breakdown as well. That can be tricky for that position. So. Oh, there we go.
Oh, it's off. Keith Earls could be in here. Steps in
there. Yes, he will. That's a big
try. And Ireland have scored a brilliant try out of nothing, to be honest. Ireland take the lead. Wow. Where did that come from? I mean,
the old-fashioned line-out move. Goes off the top, back out to the back inside, and...
Brilliant try and a lovely step from Mills, and he backed himself. It's off the line out.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Brilliant work. And he just steps on the outside of May, and he's away.
I think he saw it was Billy he was up against. Yeah, it was Billy. And great.
And people say he's past it.
Yeah, I think few people say he's too old.
It's really good work there.
Mm-hmm.
And he steps beautifully.
We know how fast Johnny May is, so that's really good stepping.
Yeah, brilliant step. And Ireland have the lead here. 8 points to 3. I mean, let's see how England responds to that, because when they went behind against France, they did respond pretty well, but it's not the easiest kick, this one, for Sexton. He's a world-class goal kicker.
Is he going to get there?
Gone for it. What it is, a very nice conversion. And Ireland leading this one 10 points to 3. So Ireland in the lead here. 10 points to 3. And so far, been fairly equal with 15 minutes to go. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Leonardo certainly loved that one, as Martin did, and Stephen. Crush English School. Great channel name, but good to see you once again. Dave Topping, of course, the host of the Ulster Rugby Roundup show on 3 Bod Rugby. Come on, young Earls. Of course, he'll be back in Ireland today. And Martin saying what a great kick that was from Sexton. Good clearance kick as well from Murray, you'd have to say there.
Don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on with the referee of these lineouts, because the gap just keeps. Pardon me, it just annoys me that when they call for the gap at the start and then the game goes on and then the gap just is almost non-existent. They don't do anything about it. So.
Penalty to England. Luke Cowan-Dickey's taking a knock here.
Going for the posts.
Interesting decision. I mean, the problem then is if Ireland do go and score a try or even get a penalty, you know, they've got a decent gap then. So, and there's enough time in this game for them to get back into it. So.
Nice. Well, we get the points here. It'll be 4 points. So.
They have to wait for Cowan-Dickey to move out of the way, I think, to take the kick. There we go. Farrell will look to take this kick and to get England back within 4 points. So far, quite an equal game. Been surprised by how equal it's been.
I think England have got the slight upper hand up front. It was just really that, brilliant bit of innovation for that try. It's just separating right now. It's still anyone's game, of course. Has he got it?
He's got it. I think he has. Yes, he has. So England within 4 points. Farrell adding the 3. And we are at 10 points to 6. Still a decent whack of this first half to go. Let's have a look at what you're saying in the comments. Let's have a look. Great kick. Keith Earls, you beauty. He's still got it. The Munster man still absolutely smashed it. Lansdowne Road is a great pitch. It's at the Aviva now, my friend. Down at the Aviva. And the stream.
Geographic location.
Yeah, absolutely. The stream over here in, not sure how you say that, play is well delayed. I've only just seen the try. Oh, wow. Okay. We'll try and keep you updated throughout the game. Ireland, once again, winning the penalty out the breakdown. And who's at the bottom of the pile is Spurn. Of course, it's Spurn at the bottom.
He's another one who's definitely on the Lions tour.
I'd say. Absolutely. Absolutely. His work at the breakdown, because I feel like South Africa are very much a momentum side. If they can get a quick ball, they've got the big ball carriers to keep on coming. If you can turn the ball over and slow ball down, then that makes such a big difference in a match. And quite often the team that win the battle of the breakdown tend to win a game. If you can get a quick ball, then the defense isn't set, etc., etc. So
Well, Ireland are doing well on their traditional choke tackle so far.
Yeah.
A couple of times now they've turned England over.
Few sore bodies out there. I mean, they're looking at Henshaw now, and he's had a heck of a first half.
Yeah, he's doing very well.
Reading the game really, really well.
That's the thing.
I mean,
with Henshaw and Aki is they do put a good shift in work-wise. It's just sometimes I think can be argued when they get the ball, they're a bit too one-dimensional. They're very direct. And they don't.
I think we had that situation here in Wales with Jamie Roberts. You know, he did really well for I don't know how long it had been. Like, he did really well for 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, and then teams were able to adapt. People get bigger and things like that. But it worked so well because he was the physical one, and you had Jonathan Davis, who technically was brilliant on the outside of him, and that's why Henshaw and Ringrose work so well, because Henshaw covers for Ringrose defensively a lot of the time and allows Ringrose to then go forward and attack. England penalised at the scrum again.
Yeah.
I think you take the points here for your Ireland.
Yeah, no, I would. Just keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Yeah.
Aye. Yeah, Mako's. You know, actually, I didn't pick Mako in my team of the weekend last weekend, and it was because of his scrummaging at times is still pretty suspect. And there was a couple of times, I mean, towards the end of when he went off, until he went off against France, he looked out on his feet a bit, but I think his scrummaging has been a bit so-so this tournament. So
yeah. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Nihon in Japan. Wow, how in Japan? Wow. Very, very nice indeed. Viva's just free advertisement. There's a Viva's all over the world. Correct. Stephen says, I can't wait for all 4 nations to come together and take down the best team in the world in the summer. Will it happen this summer? That's another debate. That is another debate. If it'll happen, for sure. Dave says, very balanced game so far. Henshaw very effective so far. Also like Sinclair as well. Great work by Ireland. It's wise to take the points and keep the buffer.
Yeah.
So Sexton, 10 minutes to go of this first half, looking to extend the lead. He is successful, and Ireland lead this one 13 points to 6. And the thing for Ireland is, although they've scored a try, it's going to sound very hypocritical saying this and makes no sense what I'm going to say, but I don't see them scoring many tries throughout this game. So I think if they can take the points when they're presented to them, I'd back England to score more tries. So they've got to take the points, keep the scoreboard ticking. And we know that England's mentality isn't always the best in close games, in these kind of matches.
Well, that's the thing. Even if you say that, but the thing is, if you do keep the points ticking over, and this is what New Zealand are very well renowned for, you do keep the points ticking over, and, it can at the very least keep you in the match. And if you're getting further and further ahead, then the opposition have to start doing some chasing. And then when you're chasing, you can force the game, you can make mistakes, and then it can run away from you. And if you're the team ahead, you can get further in front potentially, possibly. So yeah, it can work. It can work both ways.
Yeah.
South Africa did that against England at the World Cup final as well, where they just pulverized them up front. I think it was like 18-9 or something. They went up, and then they got those 2 tries that sealed the match for them. So it's not always the prettiest to watch, but it can be effective.
No. England there trying to throw the ball about a little bit. They love the wraparound. That's Ireland's whole thing with Murray and Sexton usually. Lineouts are a bit all over the place for Ireland here. Was it knocked on by England? Yes, it was. Scrum to Ireland.
The thing is, actually, Ireland, even though they lost their opening 2 games, their overall levels this championship haven't actually been that bad.
No.
I just think they're attacking, which has been the main point of a lot of their fans' criticism. That their attacking has been a bit often too one-dimensional, and that's you could argue held them back a bit. So
yeah. So scrum to Ireland just outside their own 22.
No, England scrum again, letting them down.
That's Sinclair. Oh, he's going to have a word. He's saying twice to Mako.
Early pushing. He's definitely been very picky on the England engagement here.
So I just seen him going twice. Twice he was going.
Well, I think that was for back because he gave the free kick and then it was for back chatting. He's given the penalty. Yeah. Yeah, Kyle Sinclair, as you're saying, get under his skin.
Yep. The thing is, it does work. At the end of the day, it does work, and it's something.
If he just kept his mouth shut there, it would have been getting possession back. But
I didn't win their ball. As my laptop once again decides to ping me something.
Oh, good, mate.
Josh van der Fleer back in the team today. This is Tad Furlong, the Irish Shane Williams. Oh, Itoje's over that, but he's not kept on his feet. So possession remains Ireland's. Aki into Sexton. Sexton tries the dummy. Caught by Farrell. Murray switches the play.
Aye.
You can get a quick ball here.
Yeah, Murray's passing so far today has been a lot sharper than it has been recently.
Yeah, for sure. It's an interesting debate with the 9 situation. Obviously, in Ireland, you've got. I mean, we always talk about him. We talk about Cooney, don't we? And how this guy's not in the Ireland squad. And I know there'll be a few Ulster fans in the chat who will be just as perplexed as I am why they're not, why he's not in the squad. Whatever's happened there, something's clearly happened, in my opinion, between him and Farrell. Something's got to have happened. You can't be ignoring someone who's playing that well, who's the best player in that position that's available.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Ireland aren't really going anywhere with this phase of play. Hugo Keenan getting involved.
I mean, I'd still take. I don't know if as the starting 9, but I'd definitely still take Cooney as on.
Oh, lovely hand. Yeah. Well, the thing is as well, another good thing about him is his goal kicking. He's a very good goal kicker. There's a little bit of space out wide on the lefty. If they can get the ball out wide.
Yeah.
Ireland making quite a few meters here. Sexton's going to kick this one. Oh, it's really playing.
I think it was Henshaw, was it?
They can get the ball out quick. Keenan. Sexton into Byrne. Good. Very good hit there from Wilson. Advantage to Ireland here. Sexton. It's into Jacob Stockdale. Maybe should have backed himself a little bit more to go for the corner. No, he found the player.
Better.
Still advantage to Ireland. Sexton tries to go alone. Tackled by Sinclair and Ford.
Oh, there we go. Jack scores. Good try.
And Conan has crashed over for Ireland, and Ireland 18 points to 6. I mean, I said England by 15 to 20. It might be the other way around. Brilliant try from Ireland.
No, but Ireland are looking really good so far. Really accurate in possession.
Absolutely. Really, the thing that's impressed me is that every carry is making a difference. And the kick from Sexton and the collection from, who was it? Herring at fullback.
Yeah.
Brilliant collect.
I think, got a great take.
And he's out jumped Elliot Daly there. Brilliant take. Really good try for Ireland. 4 minutes from the half-time whistle.
And during that build-up play, we saw Tao Furlong's got a bit of the full package, sidestepping last week, offloading this week with one hand. Well, more or less one hand.
Stick him on the wing for the Lions. He'll look after Colby. Cheslin Colby's got nothing on him.
Yeah. Or just sidestep Colby. Well, maybe not defensively, but attacking-wise, yeah.
Let's have a look at some of your comments. Martin Murray says, great catch and a try. YouTube enjoyed that. So did Dave. Stephen says, Jack Conan deserves that number 8 jersey now. And then Dave says, soft defence by England.
Yeah.
The number 8 for Ireland, not quite sure for the Lions, but for Ireland certainly, but not for the Lions, surely.
Well, obviously with CJ retiring and you've got Keelan Doris still to come back. So it's going to be competition there.
It's good to have competition for place, isn't it? That's the big thing. Having that competition is always really good. So Sexton looking to give Ireland a 2-score lead here.
Yeah, he's got it. Good kick.
He's got it. And Ireland are absolutely flying here. 20 points to 6. Wow. Very, very impressed.
No, but I have to be honest, I think kind of what I was saying about how sharp would England be this week after what the effort last week is kind of true, because they're tackling and the overall how they're playing is just it's not looking as sharp as you'd think it should be.
So 2 minutes to go until half time. Ireland just need to manage these next couple of minutes. It's not the greatest clearance kick from Murray, but Ireland absolutely flying at this point.
He's another one who's having a good, as I said, with his passing, but Conor Murray overall is having a very good game. Oh, has he dropped it? No.
No, Farrell keeps hold of it.
Again. Oh, he
this time England
rolled after being tackled.
It's another. Yeah, I wasn't too sure on that either, to be honest. I mean, this will probably be the first half done for Ireland if they can just collect their line-out ball. Say that again, sorry?
I want to go to a replay there. Here we go. Let's have a look. Okay, that's no problem there. No. Okay. Well, he wasn't clearly tackled there, so he's entitled to. I'm not sure about that one because he's.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
So you could.
So 40 seconds to go until half time. Ireland collect the ball. Do they go for a try here, or do they just say, right, we're happy where we're at, let's just go in at half time?
If they can force a penalty, I'd take the 3 points. But yeah, again, just keeping it sensible.
He's been told to use it with 3 seconds to go. Sexton waits, and they are just going to kick it off here. And Ireland lead here, 20 points to 6.
That's
surprisingly so, but a brilliant performance from Ireland and an enjoyable first half as well, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And I think Ireland are a bit wussy there just to go in and accept 26. I would have gone through a few phases to try and force a penalty, but hey-ho, they've definitely been the mostly the better team the first half. England haven't looked as sharp as you'd expect them to be overall. And well done to Ireland for being in front as they are.
Indeed, they are absolutely smashing it. So Ireland leading by 20 points to 6. Myself and Cal are going to have a quick 2-minute break. We'll be back to discuss the first half, look at some stats, get some of your questions and your comments. So do get them in the chat. If you haven't yet done so and you're enjoying this watch along, do hit the subscribe button and like the stream as well. We'll be back in a second. Don't go anywhere. There we go. We are back. It is half time in this one. And oh my word, Ireland are winning 20 points to 6. Ireland have been brilliant in this first half. I hope you're all doing well. We are getting ready for the second half. We're going to have a quick chat about that first half. I'll welcome Kyle back into the watch along. Kyle is back. And let's get Kyle's thoughts on this one. How would you say this first half has been? Because I didn't expect Ireland to be like this, but oh my word, physically they've absolutely matched England, haven't they? And that's been the important factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just physically, also they've actually shown good innovation, which I haven't seen from Ireland much in this tournament, apart from against Italy. But again, that's Italy. But no, the two they got, the first one was great off a line out. Saw that Keith Earls, was up against Billy Vunipola and basically skimmed him and then skimmed Johnny May, and that was good. And then that great catch from Hugo Keenan for that second try, and then they just built through the phases and Jack Conan scored. It was, I mean, from if obviously I know we're Celts here, mate, and so sort of everyone against the English thing. It's kind of refreshing to watch in a weird way, but no, I think Ireland are really doing themselves proud, and we'll see how it goes in the second half. From England's point of view, they're not giving themselves any chances with the penalties they're giving away. Although I thought that one against Farrell near the end was harsh because he wasn't held as he went to ground. But the scrum penalties as well, just not helping themselves. But overall, Ireland deserve to be in front as they are.
Yeah, massively. That was my biggest concern coming into this one was, could Ireland match England up front? And I think one player who's really epitomised that for Ireland so far has been Henshaw. Henshaw has been so good this game, and he's been brilliant throughout the tournament, but he's just been so good this game. And wow, what a performance from them. And they seem little things, again, the upper hand at the scrum now, at the breakdown, again, on the right side of the ref. That's something that England need to sort out for sure. And let's have a look at some of your comments quickly. Crush England, school ho England. And then it says it's 2:30 in the morning. Constance, congrats on 1,000 subs. Thank you very much. LuTube says England are Scotland are second in the Six Nations for now. So we'll see what the table looks like come at the end of the day. Martin Murray says most tries are scored at the same end. Not quite sure what you're getting at there, mate. Gavin says I really thought England would have been up for this. I do think they're up for this, but as Carl said, maybe the whole intensity and the whole way that the amount of energy, the mental energy that goes into beating a team like France and how much it would have meant to them after losing against Wales, maybe it was just too much for them, and with the injury today to Max Malins, that can certainly rock the squad a little bit, little things like that. But Ireland, take nothing away from Ireland. Ireland have been brilliant. They've been so good. This is probably the best performance we've seen from them so far in this competition.
Absolutely.
Gavin then says, I've come to expect the unexpected in this competition. Absolutely. And then Luke Conway is backing Ireland. So, wow, what a first half of rugby we're seeing. And do you know what? We might see the same scoreline as Italy against Scotland from earlier on. No, I don't.
No, England will get their chance in the second half. I think they will have a moment where the game might swing their way a bit, might get a try and get back. But I mean, if what Ireland need to do, I think, is just, keep smart, keep ticking the points over when they're on offer, and then that'll just keep England chasing the game. And if England chase the game, that's where they struggle. And as we know, Farrell's captaincy in those moments where England are on the back foot is not the greatest. So if that can be the case, then Ireland should win. But they have to be careful because England will have their chances, I think.
Yeah, England will have their time with dominance. They're a good team at the end of the day. But for Ireland now, they just got to keep the scoreboard ticking, keep their discipline up, and make England chase the game, make England make the mistakes and things like that. And England will have to open up. But we did see when England played against Wales a few weeks ago, when they did open the game up and throw it out about a bit, they looked quite dangerous, didn't they? So we could see that.
Yeah, same against France. They actually played their best rugby against France when they were keeping the ball in hand. And we've not seen that so far today at all, really. So
Absolutely. Let's quickly look at the stats because Gavin has just reminded me by putting the stats in there. Let's have a look at the stats from this opening half of rugby before the second half gets underway. Obviously, before we saw Scotland beating Italy, but we did cover that, of course, on the watch long, so we don't want to look at that too much. But let's have a look at the stats from this one. Let's get that up there. So those are the stats. Ireland dominating possession and territory, something that Ireland have done very well. The Six Nations is playing in the right areas of the pitch, and that's what they've been doing. So 59% territory and 57% possession. Time in possession, then again, that reflects from the possession. But have a look at this. Time in opposition 22, 51 seconds to 33 seconds. So the game has been played in the middle of the park. A lot of it is being played in that areas. And again, England's ill discipline in those areas is what's really costing them. Time in opposition, half, 4 minutes 18 to their time in own half. Points per visit to the 22. So Ireland are very clinical when they get into the 22. Looking down here, total passes is very similar. Handling errors is 4 to 5. We saw in the opening exchanges of the match, it was quite, it was broken and it was all over the place. There wasn't much of a rhythm there. But what I'm interested in seeing, if I can find it, is about the penalty count. Turnovers 1 is 2 apiece. Missed tackles 7 to 3 in favour of Ireland. If we go down to discipline down here, so penalties conceded is 5 to 4. So it's not as much as I thought, but 2 penalties conceded at the scrum already and 2 on the ground for England. For England now, Kyle, do you think it's really important that they do get on the right side of the ref? Because at this point, he's really swinging towards Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I do have a little bit of sympathy for him with regards to the scrum free kicks they're giving away. Because the early push, there was one of them that did look like really, I don't know, because it looked like the ball had just gone in just as they pushed forward. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and obviously a lot of lottery comes to scrums as well. So I have a little bit of sympathy from there. But if they're back chatting to the referee and that after he's made a call, then, you know, they've only got themselves to blame. So it is a case of just, getting on the right side of the ref, making sure you're squeaky clean as possible. And see where we go. And it's clear that obviously Eddie's spotted something wrong with how Mako's scrummaging, which I observed in the first half as well. And so he's brought Ellis Genge on early doors.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he can do. He's certainly someone who always feels like he's got a point to prove. And he'll definitely come on and make a difference for this team. So Ireland are coming out. England are already out, as Kyle just alluded to. Ellis Genge is on for Kyle Sinclair. That is the change for Mako, for Mako Vunipola. Guys, 26 of you watching, thank you so much. Really do appreciate that. If you're new, do subscribe. Check out Kyle's channel as well. I'll drop a link in the chat throughout the stream. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Meters made, 134 to 33. Wow, that's the difference. That is for sure. What stream am I doing next week? I'll do a vote for the Friday one on my community tab as always. So vote for that. That vote will go out on Wednesday afternoon at some point. So as always, vote for that. You can do that. And who's doing the France versus Wales preview with me? Yours truly, Capo Starkey, is doing that one with me. So we have kicked off here. England with it all to do in the second half. And Ireland, let's see if they can build on their lead.
Great catch, Keenan again.
You feel next score is important. If Ireland score a try, it's probably game over, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. But I think England will try to run it and play it to get themselves back into the game, but I expect to see mostly percentage rugby from Ireland in the next 10-15 minutes. And England kick it.
What game does that remind me of? It's a lovely spiral kick from Sexton, but England decide to keep it alive here.
Farrell kicks it again.
Earl's good take, but really good hit there from Daly on him, and there's pressure. There's not enough support on him.
Yeah, he's right enough
Yeah,
there.
very good play there from England. Really good from Daly there. And that's the perfect start for England. But that's what we need to see this off. We need to see that physicality coming from this team, from England.
Could argue he didn't release there because he didn't fully clearly release until the. That's probably being a bit too nitpicky.
So England line out 7 meters out. I mean, if they score here, makes it interesting for sure. And they secure line out ball, and the drive begins. But it wasn't. Was it not straight? Crossing. So England shoot themselves in the foot.
I want to have a look at that because I didn't.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure. I didn't notice anything originally. I did not notice anything.
Okay, let's have a look.
Curry penalised. I think it's harsh. I think it's harsh as well.
Yes, because Tag Byrne grabbed onto Curry as he was lifting, so that should have been a penalty against Byrne there.
Ireland come away with possession. Standard straight into Curry.
I have a couple of one or two English refereeing friends who I no doubt will be probably wanting to have a couple of words with me and a few other folk about some of these decisions here. No. But no, I think that was harsh.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit harsh as well, for sure. England making sure they say a proper farewell to CJ Stander. Yeah. Sexton, is that going to reach the line? Yes, it is. So Ireland with a chance to go from just outside the England 22. And England, all line out from Ireland there, forward kicks. There's space here for Keenan, who also decides to kick. Not the greatest kick as Daly collects and has a bit of space to run. Now, England will have to try and run this. Young's kicks again.
Oh, has he got that?
I think Keenan has just not held on to it.
Keenan's having a really good game today for Ireland.
He is, for sure. Big kick downfield towards Daly.
Back again.
It's a very good kick from Daly. Good kick from him.
Aye.
The Irish line out struggling a tiny bit. Not the worst option.
It's still so boring to watch, though, I have to be honest.
No, massively so, yeah. Massively so.
You know, it was a bad kick, but, come on. You're 14 points behind.
Yeah. Ireland win the line out. CJ Stander against Billy Vunipola is an interesting one. Murray kicks. Tackle. Forward kicks again. It's probably not going to be competitive, and he'll call for the mark, and that's just a waste. If you're going to kick, it's got to be competitive, and it just was nowhere near being competitive at all.
Well, it should have kept in hand. I I don't know what's going on with England. It just their mindset just looks so negative right now. Because as they've proved this tournament, when they actually keep the ball in hand and play with pace, they can be dangerous. But also, I think you also have to take into equation how well Ireland are doing at the breakdown to slow them down. I think that's playing on their minds as well. But at the same time, if you play with pace and you get, make sure you've got enough support there, the carries. I think that comes out of the equation. Just play with pace.
Yeah. I don't think they've turned this one over, and they have. Is it Tad Burn again? Yes, it is.
Yeah, fantastic play.
I mean, man of the match last week, and so far today, he's been an absolute menace at the breakdown. And that's big for Ireland.
Absolutely.
What a turnover.
Just speaking of for the Lions, second row competition, I think it's I'll be honest and say I think it's safe to say Alan Wynne-Jones is more or less secured in the
yes. Yes.
But Manu Itoje, this tournament he played very well last week, but aside from that, he's been quite not his normal self generally. Today's been very quiet as well. I think.
Yeah, we haven't really spoken at all about him, have we? At all.
I know, but Ty Byrne, you think is maybe an option?
For sure, definitely. And do you know what? Usually your second rows don't tend to get that involved in the breakdown with turnovers and stuff like that. It's usually your back row who does that. So to have someone like him who can do that, brilliant option in the line out as well. Experienced. Look, Henderson. Henderson could be in here. Good tackle by Ben Youngs. Quick ball from Ireland. Advantage to Ireland here.
Is that advantage? Yeah, it's advantage. Fair enough.
Furlong tries to dance his way around. Not this time, though. Ball back to Sexton. Try here will be game over. Ball goes backwards. Sexton goes for the little kick. Looking for it.
That's a try.
He got it. I think he's got it.
Yeah, brilliant.
What a try. I'm not sure if they're going to want to check this.
I think they are.
He's given. He's having a look. No, he's having a look.
Yeah, I think it's just to check if Keith Earls was in front or not.
Yeah, checking the offside here potentially, but I think this is okay. The grounding looked okay to me for sure. Let's have a listen, see what he's got to say.
I think possible knock on as well in the build up, but again that looked kind of backwards to me. But we'll have a look.
Let's have a look. This could be massive in the game in terms of how this game could end up going. So they're going to check the knock on first of all. Let's have a look at this.
Juggles with it. I think that's okay. Backwards.
Yeah, that's gone backwards. So that's okay. Healy's knocked it back.
Oh, he's judged Cian Healy to have knocked it on.
I thought he knocked it back.
Okay. I looked okay to me on viewing, but
I'll have to have another look at it post match. But for me,
here we go. Let's. Oh, thank you, ITV. Just go to the blooming thing. We don't want to see it.
It's a great finish by Earls, though.
Yeah, but they get the penalty. I'd take the 3 points here.
Yeah, I love the fact that they do show us the replay that we want, don't they? It's great, isn't it? It's so useful.
Yeah. ITV, first class broadcasting.
Nearly as bad as Premier Sports, and that's saying something. So.
Well, when they go for getting Lawrence Delalio on,
Yeah.
No offense to him, he was a great player in his day, but as a pundit, I had a couple of moments where I've literally wanted to smash the screen when I've listened to him. So, to say the least. Here we go. Oh yeah, no, it does. It doesn't touch the ground, but it does look like Cian Healy has.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Yeah, I think he's got that one right. I do think he's got that one right.
See the logic there, but it won't make any England fans happier knowing what happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah, true. So Sexton's got 4 from 4. He should get this one quite comfortably.
But no, it was a tight, so good spot by
there. Half an hour to go. Sexton to stretch the gap even more.
It takes an age.
Does, doesn't he?
There you go.
He's got it. Ireland up to 23 points to 6. Is there any way back for England now? It's going to be a huge effort from them. It's not half time. Current score. That's what I need in there. There we go. So Ireland leading this one 23 points to 6. Change for England. Very early on here. Eddie Jones clearly seen enough.
Hi, Joe Merchant and Ben Earl are on.
He's seen enough. And so, Daly keeps it alive. So they are, of course, coming on for Mark Wilson, and Ford is off. So Farrell, you'd think, goes to 10. And then
Ireland's Ty Byrne again. What a player. What an absolute player.
I mean, once again, just incredible, isn't he? And I said this in the previous, if Ireland can win the battle at the breakdown, they'll win the game. They'll win the game. And and that's what they've done today. I mean, he's so good, isn't he?
Actually, you have to say Antoine Dupont's probably going to win player of the tournament again, but Ty Byrne is like the way he's playing, he has to be a contender, at least close to.
Oh, for sure.
There.
For sure. And you know what? If the Lions tour happens this summer, I think you have to reward players on form. It's him and Alan Wynne for me. You have to start. Him and Alan Wynne start. I mean, Richie Gray had a really good competition as well, but not to the level.
Yeah, I have to say though, as much as this might hurt me, you might have to put Byrne at 6 and Curry at 7.
Okay.
On the bench, so that hurts me to say that, but you know, it's like
no Tipperick. Sexton spots a bit of space.
Change the subject.
Elliot Daly. CJ Stander grabs him. Ref gets in the way.
Aye.
Advantage. I mean, he couldn't have done much there, Conan. He's just unlucky timing.
You're on the wrong side and you're slowing down on the wrong side.
And he makes the most of it, for sure. But Ireland, flipping out, 23 points to 6. 28 of you watching. Wow, thank you so much, guys. It's a big game, so thank you for joining us. Make sure to subscribe here on Brandon Smith Rugby if you haven't done so already. Kyle's on to turn the lights on. I'm going to drop a link to Kyle's channel now in the chat. If you have not yet done so, do go head over there now. Hit the subscribe button. Kyle makes some brilliant reactions straight after the matches. And let's see if we can get him to 150 subs. Let's see if we can do that. So let's get Kyle. Now let's drop that in there. So do go check out Kyle's channel. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe on it. There will, of course, be a match reaction to this one. And obviously the Wales versus France on there as well. England's driving maul. Ireland have done well. I mean, Ireland's physicality has been so impressive today.
It has. It has.
And something they had to do, and that was what I was worried about prior to the match. That's why I backed England to win today, because of the physicality of England thinking they'd have the upper hand. But Ireland have just matched them man for man. And they go together. One take gets hit. Byrne is at the breakdown, or someone else at the breakdown. Watson to May.
Oh, brilliant by Van der Fleer.
Brilliant. Van der Fleer. The Leinsterman rips it from the grasps of Vunipola.
Oh, that was dubious foul.
Farrell's injured here. I think Farrell might be out. Oh, he's back up. That's pretty poor box kick from Murray. Earls is straight on to May, though. Ball out here. Farrell into Daly. A little bit of space out wide.
Again.
England penalised once again for crossing. Now, are they going to come back and look at that Farrell situation on that hit on Ian Henderson?
Van der Fleer, that is brilliant.
Such a good rip. Vunipola a strong lad, you know. Let's have a look at this. No, it is fine.
Just unfortunate.
Yeah. But again, crossing Jamie George penalised there. He's come off the bench as well for Cowan Dickey. Are they going to make him go have a HIA? Foul's got to go off for HIA.
It's what we were discussing. I think it's what we were discussing in the Scotland-Italy stream.
Yeah.
Like with regards to a player goes off, because if it's that's like if it looks like they've taken a head knock, they should go off for HIA.
So Dan Robson is on for England.
Because there were folk with the Wales-Scotland game were complaining about that with Wyn Jones after Xander Fagerson did what he did to him. Yeah. He didn't go off, and he he later went on and scored the try.
Yeah.
He got his ahead in that game. And to be honest, if he hadn't scored the try, then we wouldn't have been complaining. But
I think what needs
wasn't. I'm just talking.
I think what needs to happen though is you got to have an independent doctor who comes onto the pitch and assesses the situation. Says, right, you need to come off for a HIA. That's what needs to happen. It can't be your team doctor, because your team doctor, though he's a doctor, if he's getting messages from the guys upstairs saying there's no way he's coming off, he's not coming off. If he's staying on. So, there needs to be an independent doctor who goes on and assesses the situation, says, right, you've got to come off, and it's his decision. That's how it should be.
Yeah. But also they've got to be employed by an independent body.
Yeah.
Whoever that is. And
whether that's the Six Nations itself or something like that. Does all the Aviva Premiership has their own?
Well, especially right now in the pandemic, are World Rugby going to be prepared to pay extra for something like... I mean, it's a good idea, but are they going to be prepared to pay extra for that? When they're making a lot of losses as it is right now? Yeah.
Very much so. Let's get to some of your comments. Stephen says not too serious for Farrell. Richard Hooey's in the chat. Come on, the boys in green. Martin Murray says only 3 scores in it. Yeah, but time is running out for England here. They've got just over 20 minutes.
I do expect Eddie Jones to have another go. Either a go or a sort of suggestion of a go at the referee here.
Of course.
Because obviously he didn't say anything after the Wales game because he said we were able to feed the dog. So, and I think there's been a few questionable decisions, to say the least, against England today. So
sure. Indeed. So 22 minutes left or so here. I mean, England need to score in the next 5 minutes. They need to do something. But as we saw yesterday, the Irishman can lose a lead. As an Ospreys fan, I enjoyed that. If you haven't seen the clip yet, I'll drop in the chat now from my second channel where I put clips from watch-alongs or anything like that. I'll drop in the chat now and do go have a watch of it because it is a little bit dramatic and exciting. I will drop it in the chat now for you to check out. So you can check it out. There it is. Reset of the scrum we spoke earlier about in Major League Rugby, didn't we? About the changes there, about after the scrum, 1 penalty at the scrum. If they reset once, then that's it. So those changes are being implemented in Major League Rugby.
To be fair, I've seen some refereeings trying to do that recently, but still there's too much resetting and too much faffing about. I say just go back to the old days. Get both players, like, charged into each other and having to hold each other until the scrum half actually puts the ball in. Technically, they shouldn't be pushing at all until the scrum half puts the ball in. But...
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes they're pushing for about 20 seconds and the scrum half still hasn't put the ball in. He just hasn't put it in. And they're still pushing, and then it collapses, and then it resets, and then they go again.
Law, they shouldn't be. They should be a case of they're holding it up until the scrum half puts the ball in and then pushing. They're just looking too much to get an upper hand on each other. It should be just a case of, look, guys, hold the bloody thing up, and then after the ball goes in. But
big win out scrum for Ireland.
Tag Furlong's looking back to his best again after his injury.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think he's now the Lions' number 3, or is Kyle Sinclair still ahead?
I'd pick Furlong personally. I think Furlong. I think Sinclair's too much of a liability. I think if Faf de Klerk will have a field day with him, So,
Furlong's also showing he's got a bit of a silky sidestep, a bit of an offload
with the ball in hand, isn't he? He's comfortable with the ball in hand. Stephen Somerville says it's game over if Sexton gets this.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, 20-point gap, nearly making it a 3-score. Well, it is a 3-score game. It's pretty much right in front of the posts. What's Ireland's biggest win against England?
43-13, I think, in 2007.
Oh, okay. So Sexton just gone over the 16-minute mark.
Come on, why does he take so long?
Could have made a cup of tea. And he's got it. Ireland really pushing ahead now, 26 points to 6, 20-point gap. You'd have to say that is game over now.
Yeah.
England lead this one. I mean,
personally could strangle him for how long he takes with a kick, to be honest with you.
Oh, Ireland off the resets, nearly shoot themselves in the foot. Advantage to Ireland, though, for the knock-on. It's just not really dropping for England now.
Right.
Inside, so they can kick this one straight off if they want, which Sexton decides to do so. Oh, yes, he does.
I think the referee has been mostly super picky with England this game, but
yeah. Let's have a look at some of the comments. What's your backup number 3 for the Lions? Ooh. I mean, if you are saying for the number 1 shirt, I'd put someone like Wyn Jones in there. I think he's been brilliant this year. But then Scotland's forwards, front 3, have been really good as well.
Brandon, Wyn Jones is more a number 1, though.
Yeah, so I was saying if you're talking about number 1, he'd be my backup number 1.
Oh, sorry, I misheard you there.
No, it's all good. And then in the 3 jersey, England win the penalty. Oh, no.
Oh, head knock. That looks good.
Oh, this doesn't all look good. Vunipola. He's up a little bit.
even though, like we said, maybe you can maybe argue about the referee. Like, how do you think England have done today in terms of progression?
I mean, the problem for England is a similar problem for Ireland, is that they have shown glimpses of being able to throw the ball about, but when their number one tactic, that is to be physical, doesn't work and the team matches them physically, I don't really see if they've got anything else. They are looking at this one with Bundyaki on Vunipola. They are having a look at this because it is shoulder to the head. Red card.
I'll have a listen to this. Let's have a look.
It's a red. He's off. I need to have a look at it. I've only seen it once.
What's that? Aki. Aye.
I need to see it again.
Aye.
I want to see that again.
Let's here it is. It's coming up now. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's red. It's a red.
Yeah. Oh, I can understand.
I think it's a red. He's made connection with the head, and straight away they're working down from a red card. Is there a reason why they can work down? For me, that's a red.
He's made contact, but it doesn't look direct. I can understand where they're coming from because, again, he's not made an effort to go low and tackle low, which is what I personally have been calling players to be doing more in those situations. And
certainly is a contestation. Well, so. Yeah, I think that's a red for me. Martin Murray seems to think there's nothing wrong with that, mate. And England have literally just scored. Try for England. Ben Youngs has scored. Martin, mate, I'm going to be totally honest with you. If you don't think that's a red, you're not understanding the laws well enough, or at least a yellow. It's 100% a red. He's made contact direct with the head. If you're going to allow that in rugby, it's just not a safe sport. I understand you want to keep the level of contact and the level of physicality because it's a physical game. I completely get that, but it is so dangerous these days now, and we're hearing about players having early on dementia at 30, at 40 years old. It's just not safe to be like that. And he's not tried to do it, Bundyaki. I have no doubt that he's got no intention of doing that, but it has happened.
He's missed.
Daly's missed the kick. That's a big miss for England, but for me,
thing is, they'll also understand where I'm coming from with the dementia thing. I think it's a lot more complex than a lot of folk are making out. I'm not. It's difficult for me to get into a big discussion about it because it's just there's a lot to unpack. I don't want to get into that. I just want to focus on the game. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think some degree. I mean, somewhere in the middle of it, because I think some degree you have to accept rugby is a very physical game. There will be accidental, even there will be contact with the head that happens, and sort of, and to some degree it'll be unavoidable. But obviously, I understand with regards to tackling, and in cases like that, Aki should have gone lower, and there should have been a better attempt to go lower. So.
Yeah, let's look at what some of you are saying. Stephen seems to agree with me. Well, while replays arms did wrap, though, I can see where Vunipola did dip a bit in his shoulder, catch him. But for me, 50-50, he did try wrap his arms around the shoulder. The problem is the contact with the head, the shoulder to the head. That's the problem. Martin, you're kidding yourself, mate. He head-butted the shoulder. You're kidding yourself on that one, afraid, mate.
It is a difficult one as well because because he did go lower, he did go down a bit, Vunipola, but looking at Bundyacki's body angle, there was no clear effort to go lower from him.
No.
And that's what the referee was looking at. So you've got to think of it from that point of view. That's why
And as I've said before, and you'll obviously know a lot more than I will know, but if it's a potential red card, you work your way down from a red card. You don't work your way up to a red card, do you? So
yeah. As well as the directives, nowadays you have to start at red with those sort of things, and
yeah. I mean, it changes the game up quite a bit. 14 minutes to go in this one. But that's what rugby's about. Rugby is about opinions, as always. Everyone can have their opinion, of course.
And also, it's worth pointing out, slow motion replay also can make a
definitely
seem a lot worse than they are.
Yeah, for sure. I think England are over that. They are. Oh, have Ireland won the penalty?
First, I think, yeah, because Earl was the tackler, so he wasn't rolling away properly.
I mean, I think Ireland take the points here, don't they? And push further ahead.
Oh, yeah, no. There's an argument there of obstruction by Ireland.
Didn't quite catch that one.
Like, there was an opening at the narrow side. There's an Ireland player sort of put his hands up, and England deemed he blocked their view for the tackler. So
Burns receiving some treatment here. George Martin is on for England.
First cap.
Indeed. So Sexton's going for all the posts. Just over 10 minutes to go in this one. Sexton's making 29 points to 11. Don't forget that after this game later on, myself and Kyle will be back on again for for France against Wales from the Stade de France. Kickoff for that one is at 8 o'clock, so we'll be going live at about 7:45. And that's Wales for going for the ground. Sam, he's got the kick, it's hit the post and gone in. I think the luck of the Irish is with them today. 29 points to 11. But yes, France against Wales later on at 7:45. And we'll probably both be doing reactions to this game as well. So be sure to check out our channels for that. Is there any way that you can see England winning this, or is this just game over now 100% for you?
Pretty much game over 100%. They've mostly not shown really any innovation. Like now they're starting to play with pace, but they've not.
But it's too late. It's too late now. I need to get what? One.
Aye. But also I think can be argued the referee's not entirely been on their side. Again, if we go through the forums later, no doubt they'll be sort of all going about, oh, Matteo Reno, what an absolute horrible referee. And in terms of I'll just give constructive criticism. I think he's been a bit too picky with England in a lot of things, and there's been a couple of decisions he's made where I think he's been in that one with against Tom Curry for sealing off a driving ball. That should have been against Tag Byrne first, because Tag Byrne reached out for Curry as he was still involved in the line-out. And there's been a couple others like that where I just think, you've been a bit too picky there. But
I think it's a difficult one for England, isn't it? Because yes, the rubber of the green hasn't been with them, but as I said at half time, they just physically, they haven't been able to win that physical battle. Ireland have dealt with them quite comfortably. And now that they're behind and that they're losing, they really have to chase the game. Now they're trying to throw the ball about, but it's just way too late at this point. It's just way too late. England should be one of the best teams in the world with the power that they've got and the ability of the backs. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't click for them. Let's go through the comments. And Martin Murray says for that kick in off the post. Freddie Clark, this will drive England for next year. Well, it's going to be a poor year for England. Penalty to Ireland right in front of the post.
This will seal the match off.
Indeed it will.
No way back for England now.
That's it. That is the game for Ireland.
Oh, is Maro getting into a fight with someone?
Handbags about. What was the penalty for? I'm not too sure.
Johnny Hill round at the side.
No, very basic that. So 8 minutes to go then. Let's keep going through some of your comments. They might get 2 tries. The second one will be very late on. Well, it's just too late for them now. That's right, guy. Too late for England, in my opinion. Oh, gosh, I'm going through them too. Even a man up, England look all over the place. I think the card is mixed for me. So it's interesting to see that people 50-50 on it. Ireland will slow it now. No need to hurry. So no to the 2 tries. Be struggling to get even the 1 now. Well, this kick will certainly seal it. England have lost. If you'd love to see it, well, I wouldn't say too much about that. England lucky the ref hasn't carded them. Their discipline has been atrocious. Well, I don't know. Sexton, 7 kicks from 7. I think this campaign has really proved the doubters wrong. Obviously, we had the whole thing about the French doctor coming out saying he's had so many concussions and saying that he should probably retire. And he said, oh, I might retire after the World Cup and things like that. But I think he's had a really good tournament. So 7 minutes to go. Sexton will look to take Ireland past the 30-point mark.
Looks like it's going over. No, I mean, Sexton's another one. He's older than Alan Wynne-Jones, actually, by a few months. He's another one you just think, like, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I know a lot of folk look at his age, his position, the amount of head knocks he's had, and like wonder if he's going to be at the next World Cup. Which I don't know. It's with his age, it's not the most likely. But you know, he just the way he keeps himself fit and he keeps coming back and keeps going. It's like just shows the character of the guy. And I don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves for that. So.
Yeah, 32 points to 11. He was successful with that kick. Yeah, I agree with you on Sexton. I think he's adapted his game. You know, he used to 2-3 years ago, he'd always take it right to the line and release and then get clattered. And that was one of the reasons for the injuries that he was getting. But he has very much adapted his game. England are going to take it quick here, just outside the 22. They fizzed out to Genge.
Oh, has he got on? Overall, Ireland's breakdown play to those.
Oh, they turned it over, but they'll come back for the penalty. I think
Ireland's breakdown play has caught England cold a little bit today because it's been mostly very good. And
I mean, Byrne over the ball.
Ty Byrne, I think, is man of the match again.
Oh, for sure.
He's been brilliant.
England obviously
right to bring Farrell off because he hasn't come back on after his HIA.
Well, he went off for his HIA. Who knows if he's passed it? We're not too sure on that.
Doesn't look like it if he's still not come back on.
Look, the thing for me, it's quite an interesting one on Farrell. It's with England with the Lions. If Farrell doesn't start for the Lions, do you take him? Because what does he offer off the bench?
No, I don't. I don't think he should be on the tour personally.
Not at all.
No, I wouldn't take him.
Wow.
I think the thing is,
I think the thing is, if you don't start him, I don't see what impact he has coming off the bench. Someone like Finn Russell coming off the bench, you can see what quality he brings on and how he change a game because of the style of play. But if Farrell comes off the bench, he doesn't offer anything. He's not going to create something. So, interesting. Let us know in the chat if you take Farrell on the Lions. England are trying to push here. 4.5 minutes to go. It's way too late. And It's going to be difficult even to get a losing bonus point, but they're just going to tap and go here. Ellis Genge. Toje driving towards the line, but tackled well.
Oh, short.
Pushing. Has he reached? Has he been held up? A little bit short. Good defence from Ireland. The ball is there for them. Itoje goes again. Ball comes out here.
Somewhere they've got a man advantage.
Advantage to England. Surely they've got a score here.
Now they've got it.
And there we go. Is it Ben Youngs who's gone over the line again? It is. Ben Youngs crashes over.
What's going on? Does he drop it? What happened?
It's going to be a yellow for one of the Irishmen. Number 19 for Ireland is off. Conor Murray, sorry, is off. Conor Murray's been sent to the bin.
So Ireland will finish this match with 13.
Indeed. Did he just drop it over the line? Is that what happened?
I think so. I didn't get a clear view of it, but it did. But obviously the referee was right there.
Let's have a look quickly at your comments before we have this phase of play. Ford is better than Favell. Well, interesting that Ford went off so early, in my opinion. I was quite surprised by that. Ford should go over Favell. Favell doesn't offer a thing for the Lions. Mark says, Wales picked a play on form in Zamet. England didn't pick players on form. Result is Wales going for slam and England lose 3. You'd think with the World Cup building, Eddie would pick some form. Simmons. How Sam Simmons is not in this squad. He scored like 12 tries from 8 for Exeter. And he's not in the squad. It baffles me. Jordan Larmour's on for Ireland for Stockdale. But yeah, that whole point on England not picking players on form, it just doesn't make sense to me. But Eddie Jones is Eddie Jones, and he's going to be Eddie Jones because he's Eddie Jones.
I just wonder if he's been losing it a bit, Eddie. Like, not that I'm trying to, have a go at anyone with mental health at all, but just like, sort of, I don't know, just sometimes I just think with his selections and what he's watching and how he talks in press conferences sometimes these days, I just wonder if he's losing it a little bit with in terms of control of himself or control of the team. I don't know. Like he was blaming the media a bit this week for players not performing or something like that, which is, I mean, you can accuse him of a lot of things, but that's normally not one of them because he's normally like the way he uses the media. Like he's obviously very provocative. He uses them in a way that takes the attention onto himself and basically says, okay, to his team, like, look, guys, I will take care of the media. This is what I'm doing. You guys focus on playing the rugby. And, but the fact he's blaming the media for his players' performance, just, I don't know about that.
No. So we're very close to the ending here. Let's just see how this phase of play goes first, actually, and then we'll quickly summarise each side's Six Nations. But 2 minutes to go. Youngs gets it out. Robson.
Oh, be a try. Yes.
May, and May's going to get there, but it'll only be a consolation for England, you'd think. They want to take it quickly. 16 points to 32 with a minute and a half on the clock. England do respond. And the conversion is added. So it's 32 points to 20. 12-point difference.
30 points to 18, yeah. Oh, can't say that wasn't coming.
No, 18, sorry. I have put the scoring wrong. There we go. 32 points to 18.
Call yourself an aspiring journalist.
Oh, I got a funny story about that, but I'll have to tell you off stream. I can't say that. Let's quickly then talk about Ireland, first of all, their Six Nations campaign. So they obviously first weekend lost against Wales. They then they lost against France. They then beat Italy. They beat you, and now they finish with a win over England. So 3 wins out of 5. How do you summarise their competition for them, do you think?
Well, I think they finished positively. Their attack still, I think the potency of their attack is still leaves a bit to be desired, but if they can get, they still have, probably the best at the breakdown in the competition. And generally, in terms of the efficiency of the basics and their defense, they've all been mostly still pretty good. But if they're wanting to go to that really next level, their attack play needs to be more varied. They need to have more potency there. And I mean, obviously Paul O'Connell as well, coming on as their forwards coach, I think has made a real difference to them. They look a lot better overall up front. But no, I think they can be generally pleased, but disappointed. Obviously, the Wales game, losing Peter O'Mahony early as it did, was really costly there. And against France, I think they put a fantastic effort in, but just the lack of clinical edge cost them in that game. So overall, I think happy enough, but disappointed they didn't at least compete for the championship.
Yeah, very much so. There it is. That is the final score. Ireland have won here, 32 points to 18. A very impressive performance from Ireland. Yes, that's right, Martin. It is all over. Quickly, before we go then, a word on England. 3 defeats, 2 wins. Not been a great tournament at all, has it, for them?
No, I mean, their best performance last week was of course last week against France. But I think Eddie has been showing up a bit for sticking with more or less the same group early doors, and I think that's what's cost them. And like I said, they came good last week. They were poor today, but again, just not picking by form, relying on reputation over form. That has been their main costly points, I'd say.
Indeed, yeah. They've just not gone for players who are on form, something that Wales has done on the whole this campaign, and we see the difference there. Before we go, CJ Stander, what a servant he's been to Irish rugby, obviously ending his career at the end of the season. So that's his final game for Ireland. So a nice way for him to finish off on that way. And Ireland really impressed. And I was wrong. I said England by 15-20. And oh my word, what a performance Ireland put in today, and absolutely smashed England physically. And that was really the big point in the game. Let's quickly go through some of your comments. Brilliant performance, positive going forward now. Who do you think will win in the Scotland versus France game on the 26th? Interested to see how France do this evening. Again, we're doing a watch along for that. I will drop a link to that in the chat for you to go and hit the reminder, hit a like on that. We'll be going live in just over an hour's time for that, with France hosting Wales. Wales, of course, going for the Grand Slam. So I will drop a link to that in the chat. So make sure that you do go hit the reminder on that, and also you like the stream as well. If you haven't yet done so, do subscribe to both of our channels here, and make sure to do that. That's the game. There we go. Quickly summarise the game for us just before we go, Kyle. What a game of rugby that was.
Yes, Ireland has definitely deserved to win. A match not without controversy. I'll leave that there just now. But no, I think overall Ireland definitely deserved to win. They were a lot smarter up front. They showed a lot better innovation at key times. showed how to get on the right side of the referee. Again, I'd like to leave that there just now, if that's okay. But no, I think in terms of who won the game, I don't think England can complain too much. And well done to Ireland.
Absolutely. Yeah, very well done to Ireland. Congratulations to all Ireland fans, and thank you guys for joining us on this one. It's been a long day so far. 2 games down, 1 to go. But the next one, of course, is France against Wales, and we will see you then. Thanks for watching. Myself and Cal will be back on in just over an hour. We'll have our reactions out shortly as well for this one, so be sure to check them out. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.